Good morning children. Welcome back to session 4 of e-reading from second unit, that is Oliver Asks for Home. Okay, so today we are going to finish this lesson. Shall we recall the lesson quickly once? So we came to know that there was one boy who is called as Oliver. He was an orphan. Orphan means a person who doesn't have parents. So he was brought up by the parish. Parish means here the church committee. So he was brought into the workhouse. One day he was missing for 1.5 hours in the workhouse. That came into the notice of the gentleman or board members of the workhouse. So they summoned him. Summoned means they called him. By looking at those members, Oliver was very afraid. He was frightened. Even he started crying also. One of the board members said, "You are an orphan. You must be thankful to us. You must pray for us also, who are feeding you." And also one more gentleman said, "You have enough grown up now. So do one thing, tomorrow onwards go for work. Go to the nearby woods and pick up oakum." Okay, so we also came to know that the board members were very clever and wise. So they took one decision. They wanted to have control on the members of the workhouse. That's why they have started giving only a thin gruel 3 times a day and 2 onions twice a week. Because of that, all the inmates who were living in the workhouse, they shrank in size. They felt very hungry. They started having a large appetite. They became voracious. So all the boys, the children who were living in the workhouse, they held up one council. They decided, they have chosen Oliver is the one who is going to ask for more. So that's about the title, Oliver Asks for More. So even Oliver was also desperate. He was also felt very much hungry. So he couldn't control himself. So he decided to go up to the master and ask for more. So that was the day at the supper time. Supper means the last meal of the day. Actually, these boys, they used to feed in a one large stone hall. In that hall, there used to be a big copper bowl. In that, generally that gruel will be placed. One master will be there and he was assisted by 2 women. That was the situation. So anyway, on that day, as usual, they were also served the gruel. But it was disappeared within few seconds. Disappeared means vanished. That indicates how much hungry they were. Then everybody winked at Oliver. Then Oliver rose up and went near to the master and he said, "I want more." Then what happened? We'll see in today's session. Everybody open your textbooks, page number 19. We'll continue the lesson. "Please sir, I want some more. I want some more." Means what? What was he expecting? He was asking for more gruel. He was expecting more food. Okay. Then what happened? The master was a fat, healthy man, but he turned very pale. He gazed in stupefied astonishment on the small rebel for some seconds and then clung for support to the copper. The assistants were paralyzed with wonder, the boys with fear. So that was the situation. Imagine the children. So the master was there near the copper bowl. You can look at the picture. There you can observe. So the master was there, copper bowl was there, and 2 women were standing beside to him. Then Oliver went to the master. How was the master actually? He was fat, healthy man. Look at those words, children. Fat, healthy man. Comes under which parts of speech? They are describing noun. That's why fat and healthy becomes adjectives. And if you observe very closely, both of those words are separated by a comma, right? So we also know that if we are using more than one adjective or more than one noun, those will be separated by commas. So observe that one. So that master was very fat, healthy man. But when he listened that question by the Oliver, he turned very pale. Pale means dull. So that question, really, by listening that question, he turned to pale. He gazed in stupefied astonishment on the small rebel for some seconds and then clung for support to the copper. So if you look at the words, stupefied astonishment. Stupefied means here the meaning is shock. He was shocked by listening that question. Astonishment, surprise, amazed. So he was in shock, surprise, astonished, amazement, everything. He was gazing, he was staring at him like that. That question was raised by him. He was looking like a small rebel for some seconds. After that, the master, he just clung for support to the copper. So this generally in movies we can observe. If we like the hero or anyone, if they hear any shocking news, they'll fall onto the ground, right? That is called clung. So he also clung to the copper ball for support. The assistants were paralyzed with wonder, the boys with fear. The assistants paralyzed. Paralyzed means become motionless. Become motionless. So they stood like that only. There were no movements at all. They were also in shock, the women, the assistants, with wonder. Wonder means here, again we can say shock. The boys with fear. So that was the situation there. Later what happened? What? Said the master at length in a faint voice. So he couldn't able to recall that. What did he ask? He was in doubt whether he heard correctly or not. That's why master again he asked, what? In a faint voice. Next. Please sir, replied Oliver, I want some more. Then again Oliver repeated the question. He replied, please sir, I want some more. The master aimed a blow at Oliver's head with the ladle and shrieked aloud for the beadle. Okay, so the master aimed. Aimed means he wanted to give a blow at Oliver's head. So he wanted to kick him, hit him with the ladle. Ladle means that large spoon which he was having in his hand. So you can look at the picture, right? In his hand you can observe the long spoon which is called as a ladle. With that he wanted to hit him, but he waited for 1 second. Then he shrieked. Shrieked means shouted. He shouted for whom? He shouted. He called the beadle. Beadle means Mr. Bumble, who is in charge of the workhouse. So he called him. Then what happened? Of course, the master explained the situation to the Bumble, and then Mr. Bumble, what he did? The board was sitting in solemn meeting when Mr. Bumble rushed into the room in great excitement and addressing the gentleman in the high chair, said, Mr. Limpkins, I beg your pardon, sir. Oliver Twist has asked for more. So by listening that question, even Mr. Bumble, he was also in shock. But immediately what he did, he rushed to the room. He rushed means he went very fastly to the room. Which was the room here? We already know that, right? The gentlemen, the board members, they were sitting in a whitewashed room, right? Large whitewashed room. So he went to that room. When he went there, all the members, they were in a solemn meeting. Solemn means here formal. Solemn means formal meeting. They were discussing about something. Okay. Then he said, Bumble, he said with an excitement, addressing the gentleman in the high chair. We already know that there was one gentleman who was sitting in the high chair. So his name is Mr. Limpkins. So what he said, Mr. Bumble, I beg your pardon, sir. I beg your pardon means excuse me, forgive me. So if we disturb anyone, then we have to say this. I beg your pardon. Then what he said that Oliver Twist had asked for more. Then what happened? There was a general start. Horror was depicted on every countenance. So it was a general start. That means till then nobody did like that. Nobody asked like that. There was no revolution at all. No boy has that much courage to answer them, to question them, to ask for anything. They always used to listen to them without raising their voice. But that was the start. That was the first person who did like that. That's why everybody, horror was depicted on every countenance. Depicted means showed. Depicted means what? Showed. In every countenance means facial expression. So even countenance also means what? Facial expression. Depicted means showed. Countenance means facial expression. By listening that question from the Bumble, that information, even all the board members, they were also shocked, amazed, surprised, astonished. Okay, that was clearly appearing on their faces. Okay, next. For more, said Mr. Linkins, compose yourself, Bumble, and answer me distinctly. Do I understand that he asked for more after he had eaten the supper allotted by the board? So, Mr. Linkins, he was asking Mr. Bumble for more. Do one thing, answer me distinctly. Distinctly means here clearly. Bumble, answer me clearly. Do I understand that he asked for more after he had eaten the supper allotted by the board? So they were allotting some food for them. So did he ask after eating the supper that was allotted by the board? Then he did, sir, replied Bumble. So yes, he said like that only. Yes, the master had served the food, regular food. After eating that only, he asked for more. Did you understand the children here? After eating the regular meals only, he had asked for more. Then let's see what happened. Turn the page. That boy will be hung, said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. I know that boy will be hung. So even these board members, they got anger as well. So one of the board members, what he said, that boy will be hung. So how dare he is? How can he say like that? How can he ask like that? He should be punished. What is going to be the punishment? The boy will be hung. He must be sentenced to death. That's the correct punishment. So who said like that? The gentleman in the white waistcoat. Okay, next. Nobody contradicted the prophetic gentleman's opinion. An excited discussion took place. Oliver was ordered into instant confinement, and a bill was next morning pasted on the outside of the gate, offering a reward of £5 to anybody who would take Oliver Twist off the hands of the parish. In other words, £5 and Oliver Twist were offered to any man or woman who wanted an apprentice to any trade, business or calling. So here nobody contradicted the prophetic gentleman's opinion. So contradicted means, okay, they didn't say no to him. Here the meaning is that boy will be hung means he should be punished. He should be strictly punished. Then again nobody will dare to ask such questions. Will do the same thing. That's what they thought. And there was an excited discussion took place among the board members. So they discussed what we have to do, how to control this Oliver, what might be the correct solution for that. So they discussed about that, and finally they decided that they took one wise decision. What was that? Oliver was ordered into instant confinement. Confinement means putting in a prison or a closed room. Putting in a prison or a closed room. So he was temporarily sent to one closed room. So he was ordered confinement. That was a temporary punishment given to Oliver. Not only that, even they have done one more action. What was that? The next day, The very next day, what they did, they pasted one bill. They pasted a bill outside of the gate. What was the bill contains? It was stating that offering a reward of £5 to anybody who would take Oliver Twist of the hands of the parish. So that bill, on that bill, they mentioned, they stated that, so whoever is going to take Oliver, they would be rewarded £5. So if anybody wants to take Oliver, you can take. And in addition, we only will give you £5. That's why they gave the offer to the people. In other words, £5 and Oliver Twist were offered to any man or woman who wanted an apprentice in any trade, business or calling. Trade means it's like a business only, right? Apprentice. Apprentice means one who works under a skilled person. Apprentice means one who works under a skilled person. So, what was the meaning of the board members? Just they pasted one bill stating that we are having Oliver with us. So, if anybody wants Oliver for your business or trading or for any other works, you can take him and we only will offer you £5. That is the meaning. So, that's how they wanted to get rid of him. Why they did like that? Because he was starting one revolution under the workhouse. If he is able to ask the question like that, maybe the next day one more member will rise the house. If everybody revolutes, what will happen? The workhouse, the board members, they have to provide each and everything. From the breakfast, as we discussed earlier, breakfast, lunch, snacks and supper. They have to provide each and everything. Then there will be no funds for the board members. And even there will be a chance of having more members into the workhouse. They don't want to do like that. That's why, again, to cut it down, just they wanted to take or remove the Oliver from the workhouse. So that was the lesson is about Oliver asks for more. Understood, children? So we finished this lesson. So obviously today's homework will be write classwork, write glossary and summary in your classwork. Now let's see the vocabulary part. Okay. Look at the underlined part in the following sentence. Page number 21. You have come here to be educated, said the red-faced gentleman. So what is the underlined word here? Red-faced gentleman. The word red-faced is called a compound adjective. So we know very well what are adjectives. Adjectives describes noun. So gentleman, which is a noun, how was he? He was red-faced. That means describing noun. Red-faced comes under adjective. We are having more than one word. That's why it comes under compound adjective. We already discussed it in 7th class, children. Okay. So we are having more than one adjective. So that's why it's called as compound adjective. Understood, children? So do one thing. Read the lesson again and check out for more compound adjectives. If there are any other compound adjectives, right there. Okay. And next one. Turn the page. Fill in the blank. Third bit, fill in the blanks with appropriate compound adjectives from the box given below. So what are the words given there? Deep-rooted, old-fashioned, well-mannered, soft-spoken, brand new. So shall we read the paragraph now? Lata is a dash girl. She speaks kindly with her classmates. Look at her. She is wearing an dash dress. She doesn't like to wear dash dresses. Don't you think Lata is a dash girl? So Lata is a, what's the answer? Soft-spoken girl. Lata is a soft-spoken girl. She speaks kindly with her classmates. Look at her. She is wearing an old-fashioned dress. She doesn't like to wear brand new dresses. Don't you think Lata is a well-mannered girl? So I'm repeating options. First one, soft spoken. Second one, old fashioned. Third one, brand new. Fourth one, well mannered. So those are the compound adjectives. So we'll continue the grammar part in tomorrow's session. Today, finish your glossary and summary in your classwork of this lesson. Thank you.